Not a great weekend for the Philadelphia Phillies, dropping the 4-game series against the Diamondbacks. We're going to talk through and recap all that happened this weekend and start looking ahead to the return to Citizens Bank Park Tuesday for the Phillies. That's all coming up today on our PHLY Phillies show. Tune in, coming up soon. This is not fun. The Phillies did not have a great weekend, and now we have to try to recap the good and the bad of the 4-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks, who completely dominated the Phillies this past weekend. Welcome. Nice to have you here. Welcome into PHLY Phillies podcast. As guys, we try to do our best to talk through it. And today's show, as we welcome you into PHLY Phillies, is presented by Bet365. You can download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. And right now, it's not ordinary for the Phillies to do anything well. We are just constantly watching all the bad that's going on. So Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington will try to make sense of it all. End of the show. Have a good day. This past weekend, it started off on a high note with our Thursday victory post-game show because we haven't had those for a series opener looking back over the last 7 series. And so it started off on a high note, and then the only positive thing I got from, or one of the positive things I got from this weekend is, thank goodness we chose the one win to do a post-game show for. Because had we done a post-game show for 12-5 or any of the other awful games this past weekend, we would have been banging our heads against the wall. So one positive is we chose the correct game to do a post-game show on. But then it all went
downhill
that's a positive, from there. Yeah. It literally went from bad to worse, to the worst, worst, if that's a word. And here we are. Now with the Phillies having dropped the series, they've gone on that 10-game road trip, 4-6 on the road trip. It feels like the only team I guess the Phillies can play against are the Dodgers right now when you look at the last 8 series.
Baseball's weird.
And they are now 24-30 since their win in London. So we talk a lot about how much that London series, that London series, it does feel worse, but they're slightly under 500 since winning against the Mets in the London series.
I think Rich had in the newsletter this morning 8-17 since the Dodgers sweep. So that's why it's probably feels worse, as it's more like recency bias.
Correct.
I guess if you look at the broader view since London, it's slightly better, but it certainly sucks watching this team play right now. There's no way to sugarcoat it. We are just straight up not having a good time.
Oh, wow.
To bring the meme to life. This is brutal. And if you had told me after Thursday that you went 1-3 in this series, I wouldn't have been more surprised if I woke up with my head sewn to the carpet. Because you had Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola, and Christopher Sanchez.
I know.
And to lose all 3 is shocking. To lose 2 of those 3 in the manner in which you did is depressing. There's some guys I have serious concerns with. This is a huge week because this is kind of a get-right week in terms of strength of schedule, and it doesn't get easier after that. So, if they don't by Friday, when I'm taking my girls on Friday night, if they aren't better by then, I'm going to start to really be concerned.
Well, I'll be there Wednesday. You'll be there Friday. Let's hope between the two of us going this week, we get a good game to see.
I fear the worst.
It is rough because you ran up against the Diamondbacks, who have been the best team since the All-Star break. They are the hottest team in baseball right now. They have won 15 of their last 18. They're averaging 17. Well, it feels like 17 actually. 7.2 runs per game. And the other thing is the Diamondbacks, I hate to say this, and I don't even want to say this because I don't want to make this an official thing. It just feels like they have the upper hand against the Phillies. There's always that team in every sport that has it's the mismatch. It doesn't, for whatever reason, they always win. And for the Diamondbacks to take the season series against the Phillies, And once they added Josh Bell on top of already having fake Philly, Jock Peterson, on top of already even Jake McCarthy and, Corbin Carroll, they already had the guys that, and I know Bryce Harper was saying it, like, they're not scared. They go about it the right way. They play the game hard. They've got guys that walk, guys that hit, good pitching, good bullpen. They are like the Achilles heel for the Phillies. So it's on. I had what I started doing this weekend is because of how bad this is. I started making a list of all the things that I'm nervous about. And one of the things I'm nervous about are just the Arizona Diamondbacks. Just the entire team.
I had a
the
tweet
Arizona
yesterday.
Diamondbacks.
I was like, their goal right now
face them in the playoffs.
Is, aside from winning games in the playoffs and not being bad, is to avoid Arizona.
Avoid them at all costs.
That stadium, I think Rob Thompson made reference to the hitters struggling this weekend because of the lighting in there and how dim it is.
No, they just suck at Chase Field.
I mean, I do think there's something to that. Tyler's talked about the center field backdrop before, the hitter's eye at Chase Field. When you watch it on TV, it does feel...
It feels like endless. Like, I feel like it just goes
it feels
on
like
forever.
Cavernous and dim, and I mean, I think that's a real home field advantage. I'm not going to cry into my bowl of cereal here, but it does feel different than the rest of the stadiums.
Yeah.
In terms of the optics of it. Tyler, would you like to profoundly just hate on the batter's eye of Chase Field?
I mean, so it's not like I hate it. It's just,
no, you hate it. You want to burn it to the ground. You think it's a house of horrors.
It feels like a weird sight line, and then direct center field is. Oh my gosh.
It's coming.
Here we go. It's not. Look, the camera doesn't even work. They said, "Screw you, Zulli. You're done. You're not even on this show anymore." It's tough because it is a difficult batter's eye to pick up. The scoreboard being right above it can cause some problems. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's why they didn't.
No, it's everything. You told me that's why they lost 3 games in a row out there.
It is a difficult ballpark to get accustomed to. They clearly don't play well there. And listen, that's like issue 955 million.
Sure.
Of what happened this weekend.
It's not why the Phillies suck.
No, but I do think, and we talked about it on Thursday night and Friday morning. Like Jordan Montgomery was even saying, "Man, it gets hot in here."
Yeah,
and it's like, well, first of all, dude, take the long sleeves off.
Yeah,
and second of all, like a stadium with a retractable roof should probably not have humidity issues.
Probably not.
You would think. Well, if they get rid of the stinking pools and stuff, maybe, I don't know. Like, who knows? That could help something.
But I'm not gonna sit here and tell you listen, that's just a thing I noticed. That's
the Phillies' all-time record versus the Diamondbacks is 86-88, and I feel like if you took the last 2 years, they would be well below 500 versus the Diamondbacks.
Absolutely. I know. What's up, everybody in the chat? First of all, let's complain together. Chris Lemmer was first in the chat. I know we got Frank Barber in there talking about not trying to overreact. Lisette's saying how she agrees with Chris about the frustration. We're trying not to be super negative, but yes, it's hard not to be when you go from being so good to, God bless you, to being so bad. Big Farts Jones. This team feels like a lot of big farts.
Big Farts Jones. What up? It's my kind of people.
Say they're K-Red, Lisa, yes, it is a long list. I mean, that's basically what the show should be. What are we most nervous about with the Phillies versus what are we not nervous about? But not nervous would be like 2 things.
I'm not nervous about Bryce anymore.
I need Bryce to go back to dark hair Bryce. I don't like this blonde streak Bryce.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Get rid of the blonde
imagine he probably trims up the beard and the hair
together
after getting memed online yesterday.
Look good, feel good. That's a real thing.
Tyler, I'm going to send you that photo.
He looks unhinged.
Just so we can flash it for the people because it's truly how I feel today. And if you didn't see Bryce just get absolutely memed to death yesterday after the loss.
He looks like he's been in a cave for 7 years and crawled out to see daylight for the first time yesterday.
He has a volleyball friend named Wilson.
It's out of control. Time to get the missus has to put her foot down. I feel like it's the epitome of how we all feel about the Phillies right now.
Yeah, not good.
Just like, oh no, this is bad. He needs to go back to dark hair. I don't like blonde streak Bryce. I don't know how long it's been because I can't like. He looks, that caveman commercial, the Geico caveman? That's Bryce right now.
That just sums up the last 3 games perfectly. We don't even have to talk anymore. Just look at that photo.
This is how we feel about the Phillies. Cue the picture.
That is despair.
Oh, it's got to go. It's all got to go. He's out of control right now.
And what's funny was he was, during this, while talking to the media, he was giving the Diamondbacks effusive praise. Like they're tough. They're not scared by the moment. That's a really good team.
I'm scared by the image.
And
yeah,
I
just keep it right there.
Yeah, for the rest of the show, Mondays. Am I right?
I mean, the other thing is Bryce looks like he aged about 12 years in the last week.
Oh man,
you think it's a road trip? It's a get away from the kids and the fam. It's a business trip for them. Just get away and have some fun. And then you come back looking like this. Like, what happened on this road trip, Bryce? Oh, yeah, you guys stunk and you hit a wall and things have been so bad. I don't know when he changed his hair, but in all seriousness, I feel like it's around the time. Because think about the water jug. When he brought the water jug out for the home run derby, I feel like he still had dark hair. I'd have to track it. It might be around the time that the Phillies. I'm not blaming the hair, but I don't like it. It's on my list. It's got to go.
Well, Tyler, I just put another picture in Slack that it kind of gives me similar vibes to.
Oh, gosh.
Just sent to me by a buddy and viewer, Gabe Basine. I did think of this photo when it happened, and it's not the Philadelphia sports fan will not look fondly on this photo because it was kind of one of the worst signings ever. But they're very similar in that, oh, wow, things aren't good right now. So we'll have that for you in a second, but it's pretty funny.
I am confirming.
Do you know who it is?
Jamie, I'm gonna preface this by saying if there's a bowling incident that's about to happen, I'm walking across the country and you'll never see me again.
Oh no! Oh no!
The Andrew Bynum
Not
Two-Face.
Andrew Bynum.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's how we're feeling right now. It's not good.
So thank you, Gabe, for sending that over. Appreciate that.
It's not good. It's not good.
No, it's not good.
I don't think Bryce, his hair doesn't look dark here. I mean, light here. I think after the All-Star break, he added these blonde streaks. That's got to go.
All right, Renee.
But he's not looking great right now. We will get into runners in scoring position. Joe Sox. Yes. I didn't want to talk about it.
Do you want to share your list of concerns? Because we probably all here together collectively have the same group of concerns.
Let's start. Okay, so my one was the Diamondbacks as a whole. The entire team, the whole team is a huge concern.
Avoid them.
I don't even know where to begin next. I'm
Jose Alvarado may be broken? Do we want to start there?
Because you know what? Mine was pitching in terms of Aaron Nola. Is on my list.
Aaron Nola is certainly a concern.
He's really on my list. I mean, go ahead. You go first.
No, let's talk about Nola, and then we can talk about Alvarado.
So many things.
Yeah, that's a spot there where Wheeler goes out and kind of loses a tough one on Friday, and you go, all right, well, Aaron Nola's on the mound. You got a chance here. He just went out and really gave you nothing. And Junior Marte,
he's also on the list, but he's someone that
the two of them together, a bad Nola and a bad Marte.
Really bad combination.
That is a bad evening of baseball.
So in the last 2 games for Aaron Nola, that's now a total of 8 runs. He's given up, 7 of them earned, 3 home runs, 3 walks, 8 Ks. My ears are ringing. I'm like they're
the
popping.
Italian Air Force got you.
Oh my gosh. That's something else I'm nervous about. Yeah, they did get me. He has not been good. And I remember against the Dodgers, I guess it would have been when Zach Wheeler, how did that work? Zach Wheeler had a really good game, and then Aaron Nola the next day was awful. What series was that? It's happened. I feel like that happens all the time. The point is, we have had many times where we've literally said, "Oh, good, Zach Wheeler had a great showing today. Let's hope Aaron Nola can keep it going." And then Aaron Nola doesn't do anything the next day.
Was it the Pittsburgh series?
It might have been. It might have been actually because it was a game that they won. Whatever game Zach Wheeler was able to pitch, 7 innings, 8 innings, and then the next day Aaron Nola was doo-doo. I mean, I just don't know how long we can continue seeing this. It's like he's one of those guys that's when he's great, he's great. He's Mr. Durable, Mr. Reliable. But when Aaron Nola is struggling, he's really rough. I mean, he's got a 3.60 ERA on the season. He's got a 3.41 ERA at home. So they are, as they prepare to return back home.
But in August, a 5.73 ERA.
Correct.
So it's not been a good month of August so far.
June was bad. He had a 4.45 ERA in June. He has a 5.73 ERA in August. Because he's been awful to start off the month of August. And he's had the numbers are trending in the wrong direction.
Yes, 2.06 to 2.84 to 4.45. Then he got it back down to 3.45, now up to 5.73 in August. So definitely going the wrong way.
Early season Nola was the best Nola that we've seen.
And we have seen Nola in the past last year in particular, struggle, and in late August, early September, turn a corner and get into playoff. I'm not saying I believe this with like every fiber of my being that it's going to happen, but we have seen it from him. So I'm hoping.
Yeah, because I remember last year when he was
most of the year bad, and then
he was most of the year
on.
bad, and then come September we started to get the emotional, sappy, like woe was me, Aaron Nola, and we kind of were putting the pressure on him, and he did turn it around a little bit.
Yeah,
I guess. I mean, I
haven't even looked. I'm going to the game Friday night, Renee. I haven't even looked at the pitching matchup, and that's something I usually do. But what I am going to do to get those tickets for Friday night is probably place a couple wagers with the Bet365 app while I'm at the game, because it's never ordinary at Bet365. And if I'm going to watch bad baseball, I might as well try and profit off of it. And you can get $150 at sign up by using code PHLY365. Download the app, use that code PHLY365, and you'll find why it's never ordinary. They have everything. 90 million users worldwide. They stream 780,000 events each year, and they have the best early payouts across NBA, NFL, NHL, and Major League Baseball. And Bet365 offers the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting. So when you open an account right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets by betting just $5. Use the code PHLY365 at sign up, deposit $10, and claim your offer. With the Bet365 baseball early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up 5 runs. So if you had the Diamondbacks this weekend and at any point in the game they went up 5 runs, which happened at least twice, you would have been paid out live in game. And then you can take that payout, apply it to something else, maybe bet something else in the game, get a little silly with it. So the early payout is awesome. They have boosts all the time. I'm going to be working with Bet365 to cook up some unique ones for us here at PHLY. So download the app, use code PHLY365 when you sign up, and check out the boosts and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, you can call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right. Well, as we are talking about the August numbers, that means we're also getting closer to the start of the fall. It's crazy how fast this summer has gone by. It's starting to cool off. And with our friends over at Rite Aid, they have all the medications and support you need to prepare for fall allergy season, because the temperatures already started to drop. I feel like we went from very, very hot, excessive heat warnings to now having to bring out like a light jacket, especially me. I get cold easily. Maybe not everybody else does. Light jackets and some pants and things. And with fall allergies, there are the main culprits of, as Rite Aid has shared, things like plants that cause your fall allergies like sagebush and tumbleweeds and pigweed and dust mite. We know all about these things, right? Pet dander and fur for people that have pets in their house. Maybe they have a dog and now a cat, Tyler Zulli, and they've got some pet fur and dander in their house and some fall allergies. If you have any allergic reaction that are occurring, your body's going to start to feel bad. Bad like the Phillies, the watery eyes, the wheezing, the runny nose. You know, you have different, the coughing, the choking feeling. And with Rite Aid, today you can sign up for Rite Aid Rewards at riteaid.com/rewards to get their pollen alerts. They also give you updates on how to just prepare for the allergy season. They have some tips for you, like using a dehumidifier or showering frequently. I don't think we need to be told to shower frequently, guys, but you might need to be told to shower more. Also, just checking pollen counts and how you can keep your windows closed and use an air conditioner to avoid getting that pollen in your household. They've got over-the-counter options available for you, like the nasal rinse to flush out your nasal passages. We need to flush out some of this bad juju right now. And then they have lots of other over-the-counter medications, the antihistamines that you can take advantage of. They're Rite Aid brands that will help, like Claritin and Zyrtec type of the Rite Aid brands for you to take care of those allergies. So if you're still not getting enough relief, you can ask a Rite Aid pharmacist. I've asked them in the past for help. They are very thorough, knowledgeable, and great to help you with finding that medication that you're looking for, the decongestants, the nasal clearage, whatever it is you're trying to do. You can always ask your Rite Aid pharmacist for recommendations on ways to get relief during your allergy season. So again, head over to Rite Aid, take advantage of their great Rite Aid medication that they have to prepare for the fall allergies that are coming very, very quickly, so you can be ahead of the curve. All right, let's get back to talking through our list. It's a very long, long list. Guys, be sure to share in the chat. I know Linda's adding one to the list.
What do you got, Linda?
Starting pitching is my main concern. So we said Aaron Nola. You're going to raise our Aaron Nola to all starting pitching. I know this week we do get the return of Taijuan Walker. He's anticipated to start on Tuesday. And Ranger Suarez is supposed to be back as well. Hold on to your pants, guys. We're getting Taijuan back. The starting pitching is absolutely a concern because, first of all, you got to stay healthy. But also, it does feel like for as strong as the starting pitching has been in the beginning of the season, for the first half of the season, right now, they're getting rocked. And even Christopher Sanchez this past weekend, one of the guys that we've been talking so much about with how well Christopher Sanchez has been pitching consistently, and you just saw him missing over the plate. His sinker and his changeup were not there, gave up on the 12 hits, which are 4 more than his previous career high, by the way. Christopher Sanchez, he struggled. A lot of pitches that he just left in the middle of the plate, which led to a lot of foul balls. He also was just getting hit hard, and it led to runs being scored. Corbin, Jock, everybody was getting after Christopher Sanchez, and we haven't seen that. We haven't seen him struggle this much, where it was like as the game went on, we just saw a lead slowly dwindle and Christopher Sanchez not be able to get out of it. So starting pitching to me is absolutely a concern because of just how much since the All-Star break alone, we haven't seen. Have we seen any starting pitcher have 2 back-to-back good starts?
I'd have to deep dive that. Maybe Wheeler, but that's about it.
Like I think
best.
That's concerning. What we saw in the beginning of the season was one guy might struggle here and there, but it would be like one bad start and then you reset and you're fine the next like 2-3 starts. Right now it feels like one bad start leads to maybe a second bad start in a row. We haven't seen back-to-back good. It's been back-to-back bad, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Christopher Sanchez struggles on the road. The reality of the situation was we got a good start in LA and we were kind of hoping you might be able to string 2 together there in a row. Christopher Sanchez on the road is 2-5 with an ERA of 5.53 and 32 strikeouts and 11 appearances on the road. At home, he's 6-3 with an ERA of 2.32 and 72 strikeouts in 12 appearances. So his strikeout numbers are cut in half on the road. ERA speaks for itself there. Yeah. He's a different pitcher away from Philadelphia. And, you know, there's not a whole lot you can do about that other than kind of hope and pray. And, you know, maybe you stack your rotation heading into the playoffs where it swings in the way of him pitching at home a little bit more. But that's a little bit concerning. Yesterday was a big spot for him to kind of go out there.
Yep.
Not only for himself personally to try and get 2 road games in a row under his belt, but the team was kind of in a desperate spot to save the series. Because if you took a game and just went 2-2 versus the Diamondbacks, I think we'd all be feeling like, okay.
Especially with how well the Diamondbacks have been playing.
You're 500 on the road.
Recognized game.
Yeah, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, that's a tough back-to-back series. You can take 500. You lose that game yesterday, and it just makes it feel like, oh, man, I thought we turned the corner, but apparently not. And, yes, I would agree. Starting pitching has got me shook a little bit. But I do have faith. Zach Wheeler, Aaron Nola. I want to say Ranger Suarez, but I don't really know.
I don't have faith in Aaron right now.
Ranger's going to be due back August 20th to 25th on that road trip with Atlanta and Kansas City. So I want to say I believe, but I don't know because it's been so long since we've seen him. I do have faith in Wheeler and a little bit of faith in Nola. Sanchez at home, I have faith in. Yeah. Sanchez on the road, I do not.
He's like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. Like, we don't know who he is.
Yeah.
It depends. Well, we do know who he is if it's home versus if it's away. So if he, this is the reality. Him being at home, being so much better at home makes you nervous of, okay, what happens if he's pitching in the postseason and they're on the road? You're going to get.
You're not feeling great about it.
You're not feeling great about it at all.
Especially if it's at Chase Field.
There's more layers to it besides starting pitching because, yes, I agree, as Linda's talking through in the chat and Lissette and different people are mentioning in the chat about, obviously the starting pitching helps also to set the tone because it does allow, especially when your offense is struggling, for them to get some confidence that they can lean on their starting pitchers to get them out of a jam, to keep their opponent scoreless or at least to keep the damage low. But to give up 3 runs in 1 inning, you give up a pair of runs in another inning, and you just see it's, the 3rd and the 5th inning were not good for Sanchez alone. And that's after you had a lead. So now that quickly the game swings and you go from feeling good about it to now you're chasing, you're playing from behind. And to be honest, this season, one of the things I'm nervous about, not to switch gears from pitching, the Phillies haven't done well when they trail. I mean, that was one of the areas that we saw as a benefit and as a positive early in the season, that when they would give up a run, they'd immediately answer back in the next inning or the next half inning, at the most a whole inning and a half or so, with scoring, with closing the gap. But as of now, it feels like when the Phillies trail and they're down, to be honest, I don't feel good about them winning that game. Like, yes, they got it to 9-5 yesterday. It was the closest they were able to close the gap to. But even with that, I was never feeling like, oh, this is it. This is the rally that they need, because they just have been so up and down, and their confidence seems so shaken that they start overthinking, and they're not leaning on what they know and what they do best. It feels like they're trying to play outside of themselves at times, do too much. And when they're trailing, I think that almost makes it worse. Like, it feels like they are completely frazzled once they're down. And this has been a team that has handled adversity so well in the past. So
so there's two ways.
That's my struggle point.
There's two ways to pivot off of this conversation into the next concern. Do you want to go with the runners left in scoring position and runners left on base concern, or would you like to go to the bullpen concern? Choose your
poison. Let's go with the runners in scoring position.
Okay, we'll get to the bullpen next.
Yeah, we'll hold off on the bullpen because that is absolutely on my list.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys left on base. I think there was, in the first 5 innings yesterday, I want to say at least 6. Saturday, I was a little in and out of the game, so I didn't fully see how many were left on base that game, but I would bet you there was at least 6 or 7. And it just seems to be a common theme now where you're not, like yesterday, boom, beautiful piece of hitting, right center field, another double, 2 RBIs, busted open, and then they just can't seem to really step on people's throats right now for whatever reason. One of those reasons might be that 2 of your guys, and when Rojas is playing, almost 3 of your guys are automatic outs right now.
That is my other concern. That's on my list.
33% of your lineup is borderline
guaranteed out.
And when you have men on base, there's no confidence in the world right now that Bryson Stott, Brandon Marsh, and Johan Rojas are going to get guys home.
The sad thing is...
And Bryson Stott was in the 5 hole yesterday? What is going on?
So what makes all this even more sad is you have Alec Boehm, who right now is on pace for 59 doubles this season. No player has had
He's been the most
60
consistent,
doubles since 1936. He has been quietly very consistent with especially doubles, making plays, finding the gaps and pockets to hit into. That is something that actually the Diamondbacks did really well. They had like 5 singles at one point yesterday where they were just able, and I know Bryce was saying like our positioning was just off in the infield. They were doing a good job squeezing balls past Bryce, past Alec. It wasn't pretty. It was just enough to
the McCarthy one.
Runners.
The McCarthy one down the line ended up being 3 runs, and Bryce
exactly.
I don't want to say should have had it, but it was like right there.
But they were able to find just enough space to squeeze it past the infield, enough to keep the inning going, to move runners, to score runs. The Phillies haven't been able to do that. It's a lot of pop-ups. It's a lot of balls that are like, to me, they're just swinging at the plate with no discipline and no confidence even at times. And Alec Boehm has been that. But when you look at that lack of confidence, I do feel like part of it is offensively, outside of him, Kyle has been doing, well.
Kyle and Boehm are like the only 2 that are kind of safe in the blame game.
But there are so many guys right now that are guaranteed out. And Garrett Stubbs.
Do you want the numbers in August?
One of them. Oh, gosh.
I don't even want to talk about Garrett Stubbs.
So he's on my list because JT doesn't seem like there's been a lot more off days for JT.
JT's not looked right
He's not looked right. So my concern is Stubbs/JT because JT hasn't looked right from his knee surgery since returning.
Just wait to hear these numbers.
More Garrett Stubbs. And before you get into those numbers,
I will pull up JT's August too.
And it's concerning because we need JT to be able to play in a 4-game series, 3 of those games, if not all 4. We need him in the playoffs to be able to play every single game. And I'm hoping they're playing Garrett more to rest him, but I'm not feeling good about this at all. So what's the numbers?
I do have confidence that JT is going to come out of it.
You think he's going to be fine come playoffs? You're not nervous about him being an everyday...
I'm not really concerned about JT.
Okay.
But he has been bad since returning. Like, I cannot deny that.
Yeah.
But just overall, I feel like I have confidence he's going to break it down.
Back. I know Steven's saying it in the chat. I want Marshawn back right now.
We're not even going to get into Rojas and Stubbs because those guys are what they are offensively. In the month of August, Brandon Marsh, Bryson Stott, JT Realmuto. We'll start with JT. He's batting 161 for the month of March with an on base of 235, a slugging of 323, and an OPS of 558. That is bad. Brandon Marsh in August is batting 129. He is 4 for 31 with 14 strikeouts, 3 RBIs, and a 444 OPS.
And this is just for
August, which is now halfway over.
It is August 12th.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Bryson Stott in the month of August is hitting 067, 2 for his last 30 with only 3 Ks, 1 home run, 2 RBIs, and his OPS is 233. 233. So I think the runner on base abandonment issue can very much be pinpointed back to the shortcomings of JT, Marsh, and Stott. Because like when you're striking out 14 of your last 31 at bats, you're not getting the sac flies. You're not advancing runners on the base. You're not doing the little things to contribute to small ball that can help pull a team out of something like this. So, those 3 got to get going or they're toast. Now, I have faith in JT. Do I have faith in Stott and Marsh? If you had asked me 2-3 months ago, do I have faith that Bryson Stott's pulling out of this? I would say yes. I'm at the point now with him where I'm starting to think like I need a full-time platoon at second base. I don't know if he has the capability to pull out of it this year. I think career, he'll be fine. This year, something's up. Brandon Marsh, do I have faith that he's going to pull out of this? No, Renee, I do not. So, it's like 1.5 out of the 3 guys you need. I have confidence in. I don't know how you feel about those 3.
Honestly, one of the other things that's concerning is Johan, when you look at this weekend, was actually one of your better offensive guys.
He's actually been pretty good lately.
The 3-2 game Friday, he makes a big play, ties the game up late. He actually has been hitting the ball a lot better. Of course, defensively, we know what you're going to get from him at center field, but offensively, he has been over the last couple
there
weeks.
You go.
Yeah.
To back it up, in the month of August, he's batting 294, on base 368, slugging 353, but his OPS is 721. And if he can give you those lines consistently in your 9-hole and play the caliber of defense that he's back to playing, you absolutely take that. So to your point, he's been good lately.
And he's one of the guys that that's all you expect from him offensively.
That's like
he's
kind of a cap
his mark.
Almost. Yeah.
It's the others that you need more from that are not giving you anything. And it's just I wish I could exchange some of these guys like a Marshawn. We need to bring him in. I would love to see Rafael Marshawn back instead of Garrett Stubbs.
What's funny is he hasn't hit since going back.
Correct. He might be back in the big leagues.
Bright lights, big performer guy.
Back in the big leagues. And Mundo Sosa has been better than Bryson Stott.
Are you ready to platoon?
I'm ready to platoon. But
Tyler,
we should
you
have
ready
to
to
Band-Aid all these spots.
Yeah, probably. Like we talked about this on Friday, and it was one of those things. Like if heading into the playoffs, to me, I still think they're only going to platoon one position.
You're probably right, but it's not out of the question now.
But to go back
Brandon Marsh is bad.
To go back to the Brandon Marsh conversation for a second, we talked about this in the beginning of the year, where Brandon Marsh at one point in his career had the second highest BABIP amongst players ever. The only one above him was Ty Cobb. Now,
wow, that doesn't sound right.
So, the point being is Brandon Marsh to an extent. Now, BABIP is a fair stat to use to kind of understand is defense lacking? Is a hitter getting lucky? Because you can match it up with like hard hit percentages, right? So Brandon Marsh had the second highest BABIP ever amongst qualified hitters with 1,000 career plate appearances. And he hit 277 last year. The issue is he's still, in a better year, struck out 30.5% of his plate appearances. So when the quote-unquote luck starts to run out a little bit with Brandon Marsh, as it clearly has this year, and the strikeout rates not only are the same, they're actually worse. They're 32.8% this year.
I think it's 39%. Tom McCarthy said yesterday for the month.
It's almost 40% for the months. It's almost 33% for his season. When the strikeout rates raise and you're kind of in the mix of like maybe you're getting into being a little bit of a lucky hitter, the average is going to plummet. He's in the 3rd percentile of strikeout rates this season.
Oof.
Yikes.
To put it bluntly, guys, like especially recently, he's been terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
Ooh.
Do you have faith he's going to pull out of it?
No.
Okay.
Let me rephrase that. Not this year.
Do you have faith in Stott this year?
Not this year either. No. But I think if you're going to ask me long-term projection, I would take Stott.
Do you have faith in JT this year?
No. Yes, but like not to like if you're looking for a JT of like 2020, 2021,
no,
you're
what
not
he
getting
was,
that.
I guess, close to the beginning of this year.
I do. I think as he continues to get reps, we talked about on Friday like foot placement. And like how his step is probably paramount. So I think of the 3, JT's the one I would.
All right, so we're not feeling great about these 3.
No, I think with JT it's just a matter of he's got to stay healthy. You need him. You cannot have him in like we can't continue to have games where he's not playing, and we have to see Garrett Stubbs. And to your points, I know ironically Tim Kelly, Phillies Nation, just dropped a piece talking similarly to what we're having a discussion around now about 5 guys that have been struggling. 2 of those guys, Bryson Stott, as he was sharing the numbers since the All-Star break, definitely directly in line with what you were saying of his
platoon time.
Since the All-Star break, a .222 with a .568 OPS. And then for Brandon Marsh, since the All-Star break happened, he's had a really bad, in his 74 plate appearances, struck out 27 times with his .149 average and a .485 OPS. Hitting the guys in the middle of your batting order especially, but overall, the offense in general has been a huge, huge concern. But you know what thing I'm not concerned about, guys? Something you can always count on to have great quality shades and provide you with the best opportunities to rock some great eyewear when you're outdoors. It's Shady Rays, of course, because with Shady Rays, you don't have to worry about any concerns around consistency, the product, overall, the swag and just the quality is always going to be there, because with Shady Rays, they have you covered with premium polarized shades that will not break the bank. They are an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product, rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. The numbers don't lie. People love Shady Rays, and you can love them on your face too. They've got durable frames. We love durability. Crystal clear optics, and they also have so many options to choose from, hundreds of options to choose from, to be able to match with whatever style or look you're looking to rock outside. So with Shady Rays, I just love how sleek they are, how much they are supportive. If you ever want to exchange them, the way that I would like to make some moves and exchange some Phillies right now, if you ever are looking to, maybe you feel like you don't want the color shades you have anymore, you want something different, or you break or even lose them, their customer service will provide you with a new pair of shades. They've got a 30-day worry-free exchange process that allows you to easily exchange those shades and get some new ones. So there's no risk when you shop. And again, they're a great price, so you don't have to worry about breaking the bank when you're shopping at Shady Rays. So in addition to their great price and their great products, exclusively today for our listeners, Shady Rays is also giving out their best deal this season. You can head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY, get 35% off your polarized sunglasses, and try them for yourself. The shades that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. And in this day and age, with where we are now as a fan base, you need durability, you need quality, and you need something you can count on. And that's Shady Rays. Again, shadyrays.com, and use code PHLY for 35% off your polarized sunglasses.
$1 Miller Lights, $1 hot dogs here.
You did good at that.
Get your $1 Miller Lights, $1 hot dogs
Please
here.
tell me this is your post-retirement job.
He already said it.
I want to be an usher at Citizens Bank Park.
I think you'd have a blast.
Yeah, retirement gig for sure. But we have an event coming up with $1 Miller Lights and $1 hot dogs, and that terrible picture promoting the event of my double chin. But if you're around August 29th, we're going to be at Top Tomato in Center City. So excited for this. $1 Miller Lights, $1 hot dogs all night long. We're going to be giving away Phillies tickets. We're going to be giving away some merchandise and memorabilia. We gave away some great stuff last event, like some signed Dick Allen pictures, Cliff Lee stuff, tickets. All you have to do is RSVP. It's free. To be eligible for the giveaways, just go to allphly.com/events. for $1 Miller Lite, $1 hot dogs. And I always have friends and family saying, like, what's the best way I can support you guys at PHLY? I was just talking to one of my buddies from NBC Sports over the weekend, and he said, dude, I've been checking out the PHLY stuff. It looks great. I love it. It makes me feel connected to home again because he's up there living in Connecticut. So if you want to support us here, become a diehard. We have live shows on every team every day, plus the Cousins show, plus more to come. You get premium written content from some of the best writers in the city, as Tyler is making that photo larger and larger and larger. So you get some of the best writers in town and all their premium content, 20% off events. You get a free T-shirt when you sign up, maybe one with that awful picture on it one day for you YouTube viewers. A free shirt when you sign up, and an invitation to our members only Discord, which is kind of like my safe space for sports talk. And it's a lot of fun connecting with everybody. I've been working on an NBA basketball take that I would feel safe putting in our Discord, but maybe not on Twitter because I don't want all the smoke. Do you guys want to hear it?
Say it, you coward.
Since we're here in the trust tree.
Oh, wait. Yeah. What's happening?
It's a quick 1 minute diversion basketball take that I was going to throw into the Discord because I do think it's a fun discussion.
Okay.
I think Steph Curry is a top 10 all-time NBA basketball player.
Okay.
I don't think that's as big of a hot take as you think it is.
I actually could agree with that.
I've gotten pushback on it before. I've had this thought for 2 years.
We've never seen a shooter like Steph Curry.
I've had this thought for 2 years, and the Olympics just reinforced it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so no pushback on top 10 all time?
To me, I always think of like a player that's in a league of their own that you can't ever duplicate. And he changed the game. Like he made shooting
and
what it
won
is now.
At every level.
Like the same way that people used to say like Kobe is the same way people like Steph.
I would take Steph over Kobe, and I know Mamba mentality, all that.
Charlie, Bill, and Kelly were talking about the NHL or the Hockey Hall of Fame, and their conversation surrounded like, can you tell the story? Please don't do it. I'm doing it.
Oh, Keith said that's not a hot take. Okay.
It's not a hot take.
I just said a take.
Yeah.
I'm not a hot take.
Can you tell the story of the sport without this player?
And that's why Eli Manning's in the Football
He
Hall of
literally
Fame.
changed the game.
Can you tell the story of basketball and the NBA without Steph Curry?
Absolutely
the answer
not.
is no.
Yeah.
And see, the annoying thing is old heads will say like, oh, but we didn't have 3-point shooting back in my day. But that's also why Steph Curry changed the game. Yeah. Like, because we haven't seen this. Like, he makes us want to have a 4-point line.
Me, you, Tyler, the chat, we're all agreeing. High five, Steph.
I wish we had somebody that was cooking like Steph on the Phillies that could help get the offense going in a way.
Good transition back to the awful Phillies. All right, let's talk bad baseball
again. With some big, deep
Do you want to get to the bullpen concerns now?
No. So in the chat, I know you guys are talking through this Bryson Stott and his they're not married yet. I don't know what they are, but Bryson Stott and the leading lady in his life.
Oh, they're not married?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. I feel like they were.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't think they were. I don't know. I don't care. But Bryson Stott and his family are they expecting? Are they not expecting? I don't know if they're expecting either.
Is
and
married.
All these guys they are married.
She's a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach.
Okay. So they all are expecting have had babies and have young babies and I'm possibly expecting babies. And I don't know. That is part of it is you're not sleeping at night, possibly. And which is why I thought the road trip was going to help for the offense and for them
Twins
to get
on the way.
Yeah, but
I don't feel great about them pulling out of it this year. I'm ready for Sosa 2 to 3 days a week.
Yeah. So
because we know Sosa gets overexposed if he plays regularly. And I don't think you want to damage Stott's ego that bad, but it is at the point now where like you got to do. It's like the meme where you're poking it with a stick, and it's like you got to do something different.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Well,
I don't know if
Phillies,
he wants to do that to Bryson. You know, like that's a big blow.
That's a big blow, but you're not doing anything. So what's worse? Bryson knows he's struggling.
I know.
We all know he's struggling. Bryson knows he's struggling, and then we see Edmundo Sosa better. Giving you 3 RBI games, giving you something offensively, and solid. He's solid at second base. What's worse for his ego? Continuing to be out there and we're losing games because you can't hit the ball, or you're in the dugout watching Edmundo Sosa as your platoon piece. That's a problem that he's got to be selfless. You're not there yet right now, Bryson Stott, and neither are the Phillies, because the Phillies from July 22nd through August 11th have now gone 6-12. And in that stretch, it's the Minnesota Twins, the Cleveland Guardians, the New York Yankees,
it's been a brutal
the Seattle Mariners, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, those 6 teams, if the playoffs were to start today, if the season ended today, would all be playoff teams. So one thing I am nervous about that's going to segue us into the bullpen is, unfortunately, as we've been talking and all hearing the narrative that the Phillies were only beating teams that were under 500, only beating teams that are not good. In this stretch of facing 6 teams that are all playoff teams as of this moment, the Phillies went significantly under 500, which only helps support that annoying narrative that everybody had.
But I
the
bet
Phillies
they're still
can't
up there
beat
amongst
good teams.
the best.
Yeah,
right?
and not just in this stretch, though. Like in this stretch, they're 6-12,
not
but
in the top of anything.
pre-stretch, they were fine.
Yeah.
That concern to me, I think, also starts with the bullpen. Because in big moments, when you have, I know we talked about the starting pitching. The starting pitching has been struggling outside of Zach Wheeler. Tyler, you did have this note. I did want to make sure to hit on it. That Zach Wheeler has given up 2 earned runs or less in 7 of his last 8 starts since June 21st.
So he's the only one.
So he's the only one that's been good. Now, outside of him, the starting pitching has definitely struggled. Good consecutively, correct. Of course, a Tyler Phillips, Colby Allard, you expect to struggle, and actually Colby Allard got the win. But it's been Christopher Sanchez, it's been Aaron Nola, which means you have to call on your bullpen a lot sooner. And in that bullpen, who can we actually, as of now, definitively say we trust in a high leverage situation?
I still have faith in Hoffman. I know Friday night wasn't great. I was finishing up Eagles post-game show as cousin Jeff allowed the Diamondbacks to walk that one off. So I know recency memory is maybe not. I definitely have faith in him. Estevez, I think I believe in. I don't have as much sweat equity with him, so I can't say like I implicitly trust him. But he looks the part. He throws strikes. I have confidence when he comes in a game. Strahm has me a little shook. Not gonna lie, there's probably a return to earth degree with him. Jose Alvarado has me straight up shook. So I pulled up his splits here, Renee. He started the year terribly, like that one game at the end of April or March. He came in, got lit up. He had a 27 ERA in that month. So we'll just kind of scrap that one because it was only one appearance. In April, he was tremendous, a .90 ERA. Opponents were only hitting 97 against him. Less than 100. In May, he was pretty spectacular. ERA 2.13. Opponents hit 229 against him. In June, again, solid, but starting to slip. 2.79 ERA. Opponents only batting 171 against him. Now in July and August, buckle the hell up because these numbers suck. In July, his ERA was 8.31. Opponents batted 306 against him. And now in August, trending in a similar direction, his ERA is 7.20, albeit in a smaller sample size. Opponents are hitting 300 against him.
Yikes.
He's kind of got me shook a little bit. So I believe in Strahm. I believe in Hoffman. I believe in Estevez. Most of the time, I have faith in Orion.
Yeah.
Junior Marte, I'd prefer to never see it pitch for the Phillies ever again. Tanner Banks, kind of has to prove it a little bit here. It's not great, but I do have confidence in the big guys. Like your big three are Hoffman, Estevez, and Strahm now. I think you can almost pull Jose out of that. So you have a big three. I'm most confident in those big three, but the fringe pieces around it have me shook a little bit.
Yeah,
and Jose, I don't even mean as a fringe piece. He's just fallen out of the trust tree a little bit here.
He's definitely fallen out the trust tree.
It's not great.
No, it's not great. As you were talking through the numbers, for Jose Alvarado, unfortunately, he's one of the guys that you could count on in high leverage situations. You could count on him to just be consistent. And right now, he hasn't been that. Back to the numbers that actually Tim had pulled. That since the All-Star break, Jose Alvarado, as you mentioned, that 7.20
he was on his
ERA.
list of 5.
He's on his list of 5.
Well, good eye, Tim.
I know. We're here, Tim. He's got a 7.27 ERA with his last 10 appearances, so that is part of that number that you included. And also his Ks per 9 in 2024 as a whole is 9.3 as opposed to 13.9 in 2023 and 14.3 in 2022. Jose Alvarado has continued to just progressively get worse. Also, that's something I also pay attention to is like the trends of where guys are moving right now, and he's not moving in the right direction at all.
No.
To see him have his ERA getting worse, to see him also at a point where he's pitching the most innings that he's seen in his career, definitely is, I think, a big factor that's attributing to this. You look at where he's at today compared to where he's been at in the past. Jose Alvarado's already pitched 47 2/3 innings. That is more. I'm sorry. Let me just say what it's less than. There's only 3 seasons that he's pitched more than that in the entire stretch of the season. So he's already passing.
He's had injuries kind of bite him throughout his career.
He has, but because of that, it didn't allow him to pitch as much. And here you are, what I guess is a healthy Jose, because maybe there's something going on there we don't know about. Is Jose Alvarado really healthy? We don't know. Right now, he's at a point that he just hasn't been at. And he's absolutely struggling. I think you need to scale back his I mean, he's already been scaled back, so I don't even know how much more you can scale him back. As you mentioned with someone like Junior Marte, don't anticipate even seeing.
I never want to see him again.
Hopefully we don't have to. But Orion is another one. Like, we have been keeping an eye on Orion because he is young, and he is someone that we were wondering what's a full season of the big leagues going to look like for Orion.
He's got a homework assignment this offseason.
Another one on Tim's list that has been struggling, and I didn't realize his numbers were this bad. So prior to the All-Star break, Orion Kerkering had only allowed 6 total walks over 35 2/3 inning pitched. We know he hadn't given up a home run. He hadn't given up more than 3 runs in a single month. He had been doing great. Well, right now, he's got a 7 ERA in his last 10 appearances. As opposed to his 1.26 ERA he had in the 35 outings prior to the break. And he's also allowed 6 walks in 9 frames of work. Orion is giving up walks. We saw that this weekend. He's also giving up runs now, which is something he hadn't been doing. He's given up a home run now too. And he also is pitching a lot more, obviously, than he had in the past. So I do wonder if Orion's youth is showing here, that maybe he's not fully ready.
Some people in the chat, I forget who it was. Was it Linda? Linda's a believer in Kerkering. Somebody else.
I believe, much like Bryson Stott, I think Orion Kerkering has the stuff.
Somebody else was saying they think he could have used a little more minor league experience this year.
Yeah, it does feel like he's hit a wall.
But the chat is going off about Orion right now.
It does feel like Orion Kerkering's pitches are not where, he hasn't been as consistent.
Yeah,
and the things that had been working for him, his velocity, overall, just his command, and Orion's not hitting the numbers that you need him to be at. And I just wonder if maybe, as much as we talk about it with the Colby Allards and Michael Mercados and Tyler Phillips hitting that wall because they're not ready, I agree. Maybe Orion isn't as ready as we thought.
No, I think he's ready. I think he just needs to trust his fastball more. He needs to be he has 2 pitches. And when I said he has a homework assignment, him and Caleb Cotham probably need to develop a 3rd pitch this offseason.
Steven's saying the same thing in the chat.
Yeah, if you only have to sit on 2 pitches from the guy, and if he's not throwing his fastball enough, you can sit on the sweeper and you can crush a sweeper that's, hung over the plate. Mm-hmm. He needs to trust his fastball more. He needs a little wild thing in him. That saying on his glove or whatever. It's whatever it is. Basically, don't be a bitch. He needs to throw his fastball more. Mm-hmm. And he needs to get up there and just let 98, 99 rip in his locations and his spots, and then get people on their heels when they can't hit that and blow them away with the sweeper. So he's just not trusting the fastball enough. I do think he needs a 3rd pitch. I agree with Steve in the chat. Mm-hmm. That's for the offseason, though. So right now, I know they thought they saw something with him tipping pitches. It hasn't really gotten better since that story, so I don't know how much of that was spin zone or what. Yeah. But if I was him, I'd be like, dude, just throw heat 80% of the time right now. And if he's not locating his heat, then that's a whole nother problem. But I think that's the big issue with him, is he's relying too much on the sweeper.
Yeah, absolutely. The bullpen as a whole is concerning because you need – the 2 names are Orion and Jose that you need a little bit more from. I do feel like Estevez is going to be – will be fine. I think Jeff Hall, even Matt Strom. I think they're going to be, as you mentioned, the big 3. I think Tanner Banks is what you expected him to be. I think what we're seeing from him now, of course, it was extremely annoying to see for Tanner Banks, him get hit hard. Not good. But he's an innings eater. He's a guy that you're bringing in strictly to be able to help. In that middle reliever type of a situation, he's not a guy that you're bringing in.
He's going to face lefty specialist. That's all he's going to be. I'm not really counting on him much. No. I think once you get into the playoffs, are you going to see Tanner Banks maybe for the minimum amount of required batters?
Yeah.
If there's a lefty in the order or whatever, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. So I'm not going to get too concerned with Tanner Banks because I don't think you're going to see him in the playoffs much.
No. McCarthy was lighting everybody up this weekend.
Yeah, he's on 10 RBIs for the series.
Freaking ridiculous.
Is he a local kid too?
He's the Scranton
Yeah, he's Scranton, right? Yeah,
He's a Scranton guy. I mean, that's why I just feel like the Diamondbacks
Do we consider
have
that local?
guys. No. But it's like
But
close
they get,
enough.
but they get
we're
local news.
We talked about him on Thursday because
Right?
his team wasn't he a Yankees fan growing up?
Yeah, he was. Bastard.
But the thing is, for McCarthy.
But he probably had Jim Gardner growing up in his house, right?
I know.
So I guess that
should make him local.
Is the Poconos local?
Yeah, I mean that's within a quick.
So
the other thing is, what
if
other
the Poconos are local, then he's
team would he
local.
claim? Would it be a?
I mean, there's a lot of New Yorkers that go to the Poconos, so I understand the split there.
My thing is, I don't like that the Diamondbacks have so many guys that I feel like have a grudge against the Phillies. And the Phillies are their prove-it team, and McCarthy's one of them.
Yeah, 10 RBIs in the series.
Josh Peterson is one of them.
God.
Josh Bell is one of them. Corbin Carroll.
John dug up the numbers of
Marte
all-time Phillies killers yesterday.
Yeah,
did you see that?
It's Josh Bell.
Josh Bell was down on the
Phillies
list
killer.
some, but he was on the list versus the Phillies. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here it is. John Foley tweeted this out yesterday, and John will be joining us this week as he's back at the homestand in Philly. The biggest Phillies killers of the 21st century based on OPS with a minimum 250 plate appearances. The biggest Philly killer ever, Tyler's favorite player growing up, Vlad Guerrero. And look, this is
hold on. It wasn't too hard to be a Philly killer in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay, fair.
So,
well, Vlad killed a lot of teams, so it's not like we were
was
unique.
really good against everybody.
Whereas like a Josh Bell
You're not
only kills the
special.
Phillies.
Most of this list are like Hall of Fame caliber players. So I'm just going to buzz through it real quick, and Josh Bell comes in last on this list. Vlad Guerrero, Ryan Braun, Chipper Jones, Carlos Delgado, Todd Helton, Luis Gonzalez, Miguel Cabrera, Cliff Floyd, Lance Berkman, Juan Soto, Mike Piazza, Jay Bruce, Sterling Marte, Adrian Gonzalez, Acuna, Austin Riley, Asdrubal Cabrera, Lucas Duda, one that does not belong, Brad Wilkerson, Anthony Rendon, Adam Dunn, Bryce Harper, Charlie Blackmon, Mike Lau, Michael Conforto, Freddie Freeman, Andrew McCutchen, Josh Bell, with an 879 career OPS versus the Phillies.
My thing is, don't be a guy that's only good against the Phillies. Like against the Phillies, he's like a Hall of Famer. Against everybody else, he's good. But like a lot of those names you listed are just Hall of Fame guys that are good against everybody. But very annoying that there are some Diamondbacks that, when it comes to playing the Phillies, they have the game of their lives.
Spencer in the chat is asking about Spencer Turnbull updates. He started throwing. I think he's due up on a simulated game or a bullpen session in the coming week or two. So I'm thinking maybe by the end of August, first week of September, he could be due back. I don't know what to count on from him.
No idea. I mean, it's taken a long time for that lat strain to heal, and for him to kind of be able to move up in his rehab. It's taken a long time, so who knows what Spencer Turnbull is going to look like. At the end of the day, what we do know is he will not be a starter. If he is able to get back, he will be another bullpen arm. Hopefully it's enough to be able to help, because as Lisa is saying in the chat, when you talk about the bullpen and guys not being major league ready, she was at the Iron Pigs game yesterday.
I was just going to say, shout out to Lisa. I saw your
Yes.
tweet. I didn't respond to you, but guess who she got to see live in person? The greatness of Dickie Beans.
Oh, boy.
She got Ricardo Pinto in Lehigh, and she tweeted me, and she goes, I feel like a sicko in the head. I'm sitting here going, Dickie Beans, and nobody knows
Shout
what
out
I'm
to you,
talking
Lisa.
about, and I feel a little crazy.
Well, tell
welcome
them
to my
tune into the
insanity.
show. Tell them to tune in the show so you can learn more about all of our
now
nicknames
you know
that
what
we
it's
give.
like to be in Jamie's head most of the
Correct.
time.
It's not a fun.
Nobody
It can
else
be a
knows.
fun place.
Oh, God.
It can also
But
be
she
a
was
house of
saying
horrors.
At the Iron Pigs game yesterday, there's sadly nobody there that is going to be any better. So you do hope you can get a Spencer Turnbull back and he'd be okay to be able to add into and slide into the bullpen to help, because that's absolutely a huge area of concern. All right, as we wrap up, some final ones. One of my things I'm nervous about, hamstrings. Just all the hamstrings, because I'm so tired of hamstring injuries for the Phillies. That seems to be their Achilles heel. It's the Achilles heel. For them, it's the hamstring. For the amount of injuries that we've seen this season, I know we got another injury update this past weekend because our good old buddy Austin Hayes, it's been a short-lived time that he got to play before picking up a hamstring injury and getting placed on the 10-day IL. So that's not good to see that left hamstring strain does have him on the IL. They did call up outfielder Cal Stevenson this past weekend. We also saw Kobe Allard option to Lehigh Valley. Max Lazar got to make his debut, which was great, but not great, because I was we got to see Max Lazar because the Phillies stunk. And so he was cool moment for him. Yay. And then we saw Derek Hall DFA'd, as well as Max Castillo.
And they're back.
Yeah, and they were back. So that happened very
Nobody
fast.
wanted them.
Nobody wanted. Big surprise there.
I'm
Big
surprised
surprise.
a desperate DH team wouldn't take a look at Hall, but he's kind of positionally challenged. So if your option is him versus somebody with some maybe defensive versatility, maybe. But yeah, Derek Hall not going anywhere.
Yeah. My other note is that the scoring, it's taking them a little bit too long to score. There was a time that the Phillies were awful in the final from the 5th inning on, where they had like a sub-2 batting average, and it was a really, really bad offensive stretch. Well, it swung because now the Phillies are struggling to score in the beginning of the game, which has been something that's been one of their strengths. And it was the first 2 games that they were scoreless through the first 5 innings. They didn't score until the 5th inning on Saturday of this series. Obviously, we know Sunday they did jump out. Alec Boehm got them on the scoreboard, but then that was it. They have been struggling offensively to put together a full game is what it comes down to. Whether it's a slow start or a slow finish, we haven't seen them have, well, first of all, the offense has struggled in general. You score 3 runs between Saturday, Sunday. No, wait, math. It's even worse than that. Friday, Saturday, Sunday was
That's a great
total
restaurant in town. Have you been?
To Friday, Saturday, Sunday? No.
You should go.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. James Beard winner.
Yeah.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, great restaurant, bad for the Phillies offense.
And you scored 8 runs total between the 3 games. There are some teams like the Diamondbacks averaging nearly 8 runs per game. And it took you 3 games to get that much. So the offense as a whole needs to put together a consistent game. Lots of things to be nervous about. My list is still, there's more, but we don't have enough time to run through everything. That being said, though, they do have a day off today. We will have time tomorrow.
They can't hurt us today, Renee. They can't hurt us today.
Sorry, tomorrow we're post-game. We will have time tomorrow to hopefully be able to recap and talk through more. We get Taijuan Walker on the mound.
How you feeling?
Sensational. You don't know that song at all.
I don't know.
I know.
Who
It's
is
okay. Chris Brown. How you feeling? Sensational.
I've never listened to Chris Brown in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just really, like, what?
You know, he's a Chris Brown
You've
fan?
never heard any of his songs?
I've
ever?
heard his songs, but like,
What do you mean? How is this possible?
I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. And then I found out he was a POS, and I was just like, well, I'm definitely.
I mean, that he is, but I don't really understand what this, like, you know his songs?
I mean, I might be able to pick one out if it was playing at a bar, but not really.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a great man, but tomorrow we do get Taijuan Walker back on the mound versus TBD for Miami. They don't know. It's TBD. The guy, that image gets used a lot. That TBD guy, man. So Taijuan Walker is back tomorrow. His numbers on the season, if you need a reminder, because it's been a little while, he's got a 5.28 ERA. He's given up 13 hits, 13 strikeouts, 6 walks. He's 3-3 on the season, and we haven't seen him in quite a long time since he's been on the IL with what was originally a blister and then was just considered a right index finger inflammation. So we'll have a post-game show tomorrow to recap Game 1 of the Phillies taking on the Marlins. Hopefully they can reset, get a dub, and we're talking through a victory.
The Marlins payroll is what, $13 million?
Yeah.
And Jake Berger eats up like $6 or $7 million of that?
Yeah.
Or $13 million. I thought it might be $13. They could be at that level now.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, like if you can't get right versus the Nationals, and the Nationals is no given because they're a young, scrappy team with some talent, young talent. If you can't get right after this week, my tune next Monday could change.
Well,
a lot.
I actually forgot our post game tomorrow, and I'm glad because it gives a little extra time to not have to talk about the Phillies.
It's almost 48 hours with them not being able to hurt us.
We need this. We all need this as people. But I do feel like after the 6-12 stretch against the 6 teams that are playoff teams, if you then turn around and lose to the awful Marlins and you struggle against the Nationals, I'm really concerned. Like, I'm already concerned. My list of nerves is
I'm still hanging in there,
high, but I'm trying to be optimistic of like my dental floss. At least you didn't say something else.
I didn't want
I'm
that
trying
in my
to
mouth.
be positive of like, get Taijuan back, get Ranger back, get Austin Hayes back. Like, I don't know. I'm grasping for straws.
With Brandon
like,
Marsh's performance, yes, please, Austin Hayes, come back.
Get guys back healthy, and hopefully you can have a nice stretch through the remainder of August and September to finish the regular season strong and set yourselves up so you don't have to play the Diamondbacks at all in the playoffs.
Yeah, avoid them at all costs.
Avoid them. Hopefully somebody else can play them and beat them, and the Phillies don't have to face them. But I don't know. I'm running out of things to spin zone. So we'll see. We shall see. Tomorrow's a new day, guys. A new series. Let's hope the Phillies go out and get the series opener. Again, we'll be live post-game with our post-game show. Hopefully a victory one. And thank you to everybody in the chat. that's tuned in. I know we got lots of people. Think Uncle Grizz, Think TV,
Uncle Grizz,
Stephen Garrison, Frank Barber, Lisa Linda, Lisette, Triple L's, like the Phillies. Frank, Keith, everybody that's tuned in, even the people on Twitter. I see a lot of Twitter comments coming through from Goofy Dup and VA Philly
Big Farts Jones
624
still hanging?
Big Farts Jones.
My
I
man.
think his name was. Thank you so much for tuning in. For Tyler, Jamie, myself, Renee, so long. Till next time, and hopefully we're talking the Phillies win over Miami in our post-game show tomorrow. See you guys next time.
We all silly like the mayor.